But so begins the proclamation. And thank you again for allowing us to read it this year. Whereas, since the inception of the United States, beginning with the first known Europeans to set foot on this land in 1492, peoples of non-Western European descent have had challenges obtaining equal and ethical consideration, respect, and treatment by those of Western European descent. And
whereas voluntary and involuntary indentured servitude in the United States began as a method of obtaining cheap labor based on class, social position, or criminal punishment, it soon evolved into involuntary slavery based on race. And
whereas on September 22nd, 1862, then Union President Abraham Lincoln issued and later made effective and signed on January 1st, 1863, the Emancipation Proclamation, which declared the freedom of slaves in Confederate states which rebelled against the Union, tied slavery to the Civil War, and allowed blacks to fight on behalf of the Union. And
whereas on June 19, 1865, the news of the Emancipation Proclamation and its impact was presented to the enslaved people of Galveston Bay, Texas, informing them of their freedom. And
whereas on December 6, 1865, the 13th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States was ratified, thus ending slavery and non-conditional servitude in the United States. And
whereas we honor June 19th, now known as
the
Portmanteau. See, you couldn't say interstate park. See, we having our moments today. Juneteenth as the day we celebrate the end of slavery in the United States. And
whereas Juneteenth has evolved into a way to pay homage to ancestors and celebrate Black culture, liberation, and the achievements of Black Americans, this holiday also presents a powerful opportunity for critical reflection, social action, and examination of our progress towards racial equity and justice. And
whereas we recognize that neither spoken proclamation, written word, nor legal public policy is enough to establish change that creates a climate that considers and respects and is indicative and demonstrative of the ideal that all people are created equal. And
whereas while we celebrate Juneteenth as the end of slavery in the United States, we acknowledge that racism, prejudice, bias, discrimination, and hate continue to plague our nation and cause hurt, harm, and undue trauma on the Black community. And
whereas we demand that our truth must be heard loud and clear, we are declaring the Black family, the Black community, the Black experience is valuable, powerful, majestic, graceful, driven, principled, and flourishing in spite of our narrative of struggle, oppression, and restriction. And
whereas Black resilience, brilliance, and power can be found weaved throughout our existence and will continue to rewrite the narrative of the Black family and continue to break barriers, challenge the status quo, and create opportunities for our contributions to be highlighted and embraced. And
whereas we as a people are saying no more of the same. Our humanity matters, our struggles matter, our triumphs matter, our lives matter, our Black experience matters. Today, we celebrate our Blackness without reservation or hesitation, but with pride and honor. And
whereas we call upon all peoples to join us in this celebration of freedom from physical, mental, emotional, financial, ethical, moralistic, and spiritual slavery that contributes to harm of self, harm of family, and harm of community, regardless of race, age, gender, or ability. And
whereas we call upon all peoples to join us in the celebration as we use this freedom from these slaveries to exercise our minds to build, hearts to love, words to encourage, and hands to heal.
Now, therefore, I, Ted Wheeler, the mayor of the city of Portland, Oregon, the city of roses, do hereby proclaim June 19th, 2022 to be Juneteenth and encourage all peoples to celebrate this freedom not just on June 19th, but on every day. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.